Hey, Sayem, it's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks a lot for having me, Elisha, and
Beautiful.
it's a pleasure speaking with you.
Amazing. That's a great word. And thank you too so very much for being here. And you see, I'm excited to have you on the show. And oftentimes I love to thank my guest for two main things. And I do this so often to the point where I think it has become an anthem. So firstly, Sayem, I want to say thank you for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you invested in yourself. And oftentimes, my man, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. Yeah, you see, some months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, there was this tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. I just walked past it. But you see, just recently, Siam, I was on that same road, and this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree, you see. The mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance, and immediately I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me. Because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches. It was a beautiful moment that day. I was so excited. Here is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Siam that you are today, that alone has made it really impossible for me to skip you or say no to you. You see, getting to read about you, your bio, oh boy, I love the stuff I saw and it's amazing. And I'm excited that you invested in yourself. And here we are today, myself and my audience, we're about to benefit from what you've been doing, which is amazing. Secondly, thank you so very much for being here. I truly appreciate it, my man. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for that great welcome and the analogy. I love it. And yes, you're right. Like without investing in yourself, you don't go or grow much.
Thank you too. So let's get started. You see, I'm quite excited to have you on the show today, Siam, for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge, but the application of it. And you see, Siam, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge, and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. And the second reason why I'm excited to have the amazing Sam on the show is for the sake of the listeners. You see, Sam, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality information, eye-opening stuff, you see, very important stuff, of which I'm totally convinced that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, Sam, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or professional journey. We are just so curious right now. We want to know how Sam got here. And afterwards, I've gotten some really beautiful questions for you. Okay, Sam, over to you.
All right. Thanks a lot. So my personal journey started way back in 2013, 2014. Actually 2012, 2013, when I decided to move to Canada from Bangladesh as a pharmacist. And then after migrating, not with much, migrated as a skilled immigrant with just $1,000 in my pocket and my wife and a big dream. A lot of people ask me what that dream was. My dream has always been like I'll have something on my own. I wanted to grow as a person a lot more than what I was. Or still today, I keep on looking for chances to grow, right? Like not just knowledge, information. It's also the person who I want to be. What we all will all live this one day, right? Or the physical being won't be here. So what's the legacy I leave behind is what I always think of and move towards that. So that said, I stopped being a pharmacist when I came to Canada. My wife still pursued pharmacy, and that all that for, as I said, like the dream. I didn't want to be like, okay, I know I can create an impact, and it's a very important job as a pharmacist to provide the service. But I always thought that I have a lot more to give to the world than just that. So that was my journey. And along the path, I tried a lot of different things. I tried lots of ways to make money, So like like selling things online, like on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. A lot of those platforms didn't even exist when I got started. It was a lot of learning. Hence, I feel like nowadays you have a bit more advantage in terms of doing things online. Back in the days, we had to learn it the hard way, read actual books and meet with people, right? So that the reason I say that is because I was chasing money, right? So nothing was working. Now, one of the lessons that I learned along the journey was instead of trying to chase the money, if I started chasing the person that I want to be, everything automatically aligns, right? So as I mentioned earlier, I want to leave a legacy, not just make money. I could have made money, a lot more money, as being a pharmacist right away, but I didn't. And throughout that journey, I learned a lot of things and a lot of processes, business insights as well. And now what I do is I help other business owners, specifically like coaches and course creators, because I know they have a message to share, and them sharing that message will create an impact on other people's lives. And me being part of that is what I want to do. Like, okay, I will help others to get their message so that they can reach more people and create that impact they're meant to create.
That's amazing. And your words are really, really profound. The part where you said that you're so much concerned about leaving a lasting legacy, and that's a great one. And you say, I wish many people can think that way and live like that. You said, we are never going to remain on this planet for life. We're definitely going to leave the physical world. And that shows that you are truly worth listening to. I dare you. And folks like you, I find them very interesting. And the part where you also mentioned that it's not about the money, that you stopped chasing money and now you became who you were meant to be, and every other thing now aligns. That's a deep one. I love that. And thank you for sharing your story with us. So, how much money? You mentioned the amount you arrived with in Canada. How much was it, and how did you manage that?
So when I first landed, it was $1,000 back in those days. And where I come from, the conversion rate would be like a dollar would cost you around 68 bucks of my local currency. So I was already working as a pharmacist. I was also working in the pharmaceutical marketing. Like I would go and train sales reps and like the sales team to go out. I had a job back home. So that one I had to give up like when I came. So that was a couple of years of savings and a little bit of help from my dad, because like my dad, he his he's the reason I am the man today. Is how I always say he's my best friend. I still till this date I say he's my best friend. He helped me out most definitely. Like even I didn't have money for buying the a ticket for the flight, and he paid for it. And he's like, if that's your dream, that's the person you want to be, go for it. And he helped me out. So that was most definitely a turning point at that time. But he didn't have, because my parents they still live back home. They had to still go through their lives, right? So that's how I came about with that little amount. And how we managed after landing here was, first of all, like coming to a new country, it's very different, right? Like you have to understand a lot of things, how things work, what happens, the culture and everything, especially coming from the Southeast Asian part of the world to the Western world. It's very different. And trying to understand all that, I still remember one night, maybe like within the first week, I told my wife, I'm going to forget who I was. I'm going to leave everything behind because I already left everything behind physically. Now, mentally, I still needed to disconnect from what I knew, what who I was, because as I said, I was at a mid-tier management level already, working back home uh, at a very early age too. So like I was like 24, 25, and I still got promoted to a very higher, or not higher, like mid-tier position, right? So I told her I'm going to drop everything, I'm going to leave everything mindset-wise behind and start. And I started selling door to door. I was like, okay, I'll get this door-to-door job, sales job, so that I get to connect with people, understand their mentality a lot. And I was doing 2 or 3 jobs, part-time jobs at that time, like retail and doing the door-to-door sales. I was selling knives for going door to door. It wasn't easy, but it was the journey that I had to go on to understand things better.
Exactly, exactly. So, what happened to your business during COVID?
That was like what I just said was 2014. And as I mentioned earlier, like, okay, I tried everything under the sun that you can think of as a side hustle. I'm like drop shipping, creating websites, flipping those websites. One of the things that I was able to do is I wasn't making a lot of money, but I was able to get in like 100, 200, 500 bucks here and there. Now, my internal goal with that was not to be like a millionaire with those, but at that time, my wife was also studying to be a pharmacist, and just to support her so that she can achieve her goal, right? So in this process, I'm trying this, trying that. Eventually, Amazon business clicked a little. So I started selling like 27 different products in Amazon at one time. And this is all like bootstrapped, right? Like it's all my own money. I didn't have anything to get money from anywhere else, not no money from back home, etc., etc. It's like, okay, try this, figured this out like that. Eventually got it to a point where I made like 50,000 or so or more actually in less than a month with one product. And I was like, yes, this is it. This is great. And then COVID hit in 2020. This was like right this month that I had, like the biggest month I ever had was just before COVID. It was like December or January of like December 2019 or January 2020. And then soon after COVID hits and the supply chain goes to like, I don't even have the words to say how I felt at that point. Like supply chain was a mess. The suppliers I was working with were in Hong Kong, shipping time increased, price increased, and it just nosedived. My Amazon business just fell off the cliff because of all the partnerships I had. Some of them went out of business, some of them were like, oh, we can't keep on doing this anymore. So it was devastating. But back in my mind, I always had it like, okay, I've figured so many things out, starting from moving from one country to another and having this success online somewhat. I know to a lot of people, it's not a lot, like, okay, 50,000, what does that mean, right? But to me at that point, it was huge. And I know I knew at that time that I needed to bounce back. And hence, I went on another learning journey, or at least I had the resources now to go out and enhance my skills a bit.
That's amazing. You didn't allow the situation to beat you down, but you did your thing. That's a great word. Okay, we have two more questions to go. So, how do you help business owners attract new clients each month?
So let me answer that with a quick backstory on what happened. As soon as that Amazon situation happened with me, one of the things I realized is like business is not about selling products only. It's about caring for the person who's buying the product or service from you, right? So in this process, I'm in this learning journey, and I didn't have enough money at that time because, as I said, like business went down. I still owed money to other people. So that 50,000 came and went like in a snap, like the Thanos snap. So what I was doing is I'm looking for this and that. And then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, I see a webinar which was hosted by Russell Brunson. Now he's my mentor. Try to follow him to the T. Back in 2014, I still have unopened emails from Russell Brunson between 2014 till 2019. Maybe it wasn't meant to be opened because I wouldn't be the person I wanted to be if I opened it at that time. So 2019, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to hop onto one of his webinars. And I did. And in that webinar, what he was showing is a few different strategies, right? More than the strategies, I saw a lot of people walking the stage with this award that he created called the 2 Comma Club Award. And that means they generated $1 million through one system or fund. And that was my aha moment. I'm like, if they can do it, why can't I do it? They're doing it in a year. Maybe it will take me 4. That's fine. But what's the system they're using, right? So that's when I went all in on every kind of thing that I could learn about that particular system. And I mastered it to some extent. And again, like mastery is never ending. In my eyes, it's like you keep on doing it, testing, tweaking, which I did for multiple years to get to a point where I can confidently say, okay, I know this process works. It's all about understanding and refining those processes. As an entrepreneur, a lot of people think that you have to innovate new things. Innovation doesn't necessarily mean you have to innovate new things. Innovation can be you get someone's ideas, tweak it to mold it to your own, and practice it and refine it so much that now you have your own systems and your own framework. Most of the times, anything out there you see, you have 40 different people doing it or 500 people doing it. How do you do it differently is the actual entrepreneurial journey to me, right? So as you ask, how do I help? I've mostly learned most of the things from people like Russell Brunson or getting like mindset blocks removed by learning from people like Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi and industry leaders and experts. And then I've created a few processes and systems and put them in place together to make it a well-oiled machine. That's it.
That's a smart one. That's a very, very smart one. Just like the story of a king. They asked the king, they said, how come are you always coming up with beautiful advice and command? You see, your command has never ever missed before. Then he said, well, that's why I'm a king. What I simply do is I speak to all of my chiefs now. I ask for their suggestions. So this one gives me his suggestion, then I take this one, I take that one, I take that one, and I merge it together and I had it with mine. And now I make my own decision out of all of those things. So I get it. That's a smart one. That's a brilliant one. So to bring this to an end, Siam, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those folks who like to reach out to you, learn more about everything we've discussed so far, or even ask questions, how can that be possible?
So to begin with, like I can flip you a link where people can reach out to me. It's a done for you system as well for if someone's looking for that. If not, they can they can look at that web page for my email address. Reach out to me. I actually go through the email address I put in there is the one that I actually go through myself, not a team member or anyone. So that's one way of reaching out to me, or just type my name in LinkedIn, Sayem Khan, and they can definitely connect. I'm an open book. I love sharing with people. Now, to leave your audience or leave the people who are listening to this, the biggest takeaway I would say is, as from my journey and my experience, I can say this for sure that yes, you are going to feel down. You are going to go through hard times, difficult times, but you have it in you to come across that. You need two things. One is faith in yourself, and the second is faith. I don't know, a lot of people will call him God. From the Islam religion, I say Allah. A lot of people will say universe. However you phrase it, you need to have that faith. and you need to have faith in yourself as well that yes, you are going down the right path.
Amazing. Beautiful. So that's going to be the end of the show, Sam. Thank you for coming. And thank you for sharing this beautiful stuff with us. It means a whole lot, man. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for having me, and it was a pleasure speaking with you.